him like grab a cigarette. He's like, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? We're making pizzas here. He's like, it's an e-cigarette. I'm like, you can't smoke. He's like, no, it's an e-cigarette. I'm like, okay. So I just left it at that. Yeah, that's my story about the cigarette smoking inside.
How did they camping out?
They were mopping the floor.
He likes it. It's probably dry now.
Remind me of a kid back at home. Just letting you know.
Does that remind you of a story?
Not really. I never really knew this kid. Oh, there was one time we were at like a party and like we were like hanging out and stuff, and like he showed up for whatever reason, but I didn't really know him. I didn't really know him or anything. And then he like.
Yes.
Yes, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
How y'all doing?
We're having story
How's he
time,
doing,
Sergeant.
Paul? Goodish.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the rest of the story though. It kind of just got fuzzy, and then the cop showed up, so we had to close the garage door like 7 times, and then he left, and then he drove home. That wasn't a good idea to drive home. But I really like that kid, so I almost beat him up. And then this girl was like, "No, don't do that! I want conflict." I'm like, "Bitch, I don't like it." And she's like, "Don't do this." I'm like, "Fine." So then he left. I'm like. He had a little dog. The little dog was like really little. And, like, he's one of those guys who like skateboards and stuff. I'm like, dude, Mike, seriously? Little dog, like little bitch dog thing, you know? Anyways, yeah, it wasn't like much, but I didn't like him very much. But like this one time, back in my house, like in Bellevue, so we had this like this house. There's a 1-story house and there's like 3 bedrooms and then a basement. And I never went in the basement because it's always like flooded when it rained, like straight up like flooded. It's always get like pumped out and everything. And like we had a little swing in the backyard and like a little dog. And the little dog was really cool, which makes another story. But I didn't really like that dog. We got that dog from like the church or something. But anyways, that dog like I would run around in like my little like freaking diaper and shit like that. And the dog like one time like everyone like my mom's like, "No, I'm just ready." And I was playing with the little dog. And everyone went inside and then like the dog started chasing me around. So like running in circles around like a little playpen that we have like a slide. And I was like. I didn't know what was going on, but then the dog like grabbed me by the diaper and like ripped off my diaper and was like pulling me around and everything. It was a very tragic story. The dog like ripped off my diaper, but like my brother was on like the swing that we had. You missed part of the story. We had a swing at our old house. And it was a lot of fun to play on. And I didn't get my turn, so I hit him in the head with a baseball bat. Pissed me off. I was like, yeah.
You need constant supervision.
But what does the basement have to do with this story or the flooding?
It's my old house. I mean, there's a point.
Did you tell him that story about the bees? Not the one on Byline.
Oh yeah, the bees.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you this one story this one time. Well, this one time was like a few days ago about the whole bee incident, right? So like, okay, y'all probably don't know this, but I almost died on the flight line like last week or some shit. I was like out there and I was like just walking because we like gotta clean up this hazmat shit. So I was like, you know, I was like observing the upper area, watching for like jets turning and shit. So here I am just walking along. And all of a sudden I see a bee. I'm like, ha, I'm gonna dodge you. So I walk over the side, and then, bam! There's like a whole thing of bees. But that's not the story that I was gonna tell you. That just led up to the story that I was gonna tell you. So anyways, this one time I was like out in the woods. This guy named LJ and his little brother Hunter. Who else was there? There was me, Trevor, Jonathan, LJ, and Hunter. And Trevor and Jonathan I've been like friends with for a long time. In like 4th grade, I guess I like tried to beat up Trevor, which wasn't very cool. But there's like these like tires and shit at the playground that like bark, and I guess I like tried to beat him up, and then like it was not a fun time. But anyway, so like it's me, Trevor, Jonathan, LJ, and his little brother Hunter, and this other kid that I don't really know. But we're out there freaking in the mud, in the woods and stuff, and then we cross over the little creek, and like it's like this little salmon hatchery creek that leads to our lake. So you know the fish like swim up the creek, right? But anyways, we're going through there, and that's kind of during summertime. And so Marley, the girl that like that I just like beat up a bunch, I guess. Like,
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, so Marley was there too, and she lived down the street, and I lived up the street. So like in between the street was like the area that we were, and like we're moshing through this fucking swamp stuff, and they're over there playing on the fucking tree and like bouncing and shit. And so like there's mud, and like it was deep mud. It went up to like my knees. I was wearing like shoes and pants and a shirt, so it was bad news. Like I went into the mud. This was in like 9th grade, okay? Which reminds me of the story that happened in 10th grade. But anyway, so I was in like the mud, and I hear this type sound. I'm like, hey guys, I think there's a bee's nest somewhere. And like, I'll go over this little grassy spot, because it looks like there's like no mud there. But then I sink like deep in mud, like it went past my knees, like up to my thighs.
Keep going. What are you?
So anyways, I'm like past my thighs, and like I got a bee sting. I'm like, whoa, guys, I got a bee sting, because it was my damn first time getting a bee sting, you know. Never got one of those before. But then like I'm like, ow, oh, and like all over it. I look down, like wasps all over me, like mud wasps, like straight up, like you know those guys on like Discovery Channel, like go in there wear like the bee suits, like. Grab their bee shit and they're like, and the bees are all over them. Well, that was me without the bee suit. Anyway, so yeah, it hurt so bad. I was like, ah! Like I was like, they're not part of hazmat. They don't get to know these stories. This is like hazmat intimate relationship bonding time with us. Not them. They're outsiders. This is us. Anyway, so I ended up getting like.
Oh, we're good on time.
I ended up getting like a lot of these things. I was like yelling the word fuck a lot and like shit and bitch. And I was like, save me! Because I was like stuck in the mud. So I was like, ah! And ended up, I was just like, this is stupid. I got really pissed off. And so my shoes got lost in the mud. And then I met Dylan. Well, that's after this story. It's part of another story. Anyway, so yeah. And then Marley's mom and dad like came. And like I was like crawling out of the mud, and it was like epic, and there was like bees everywhere. And I had like a bunch of like bee stings in my butt. Well, they're mud wasp stings, so they weren't even stings, they're like bites. So they hurt a lot. Like I had like one in my head that was like squirming around, but it was only his butt part or his head part. So I got to pull that out. Yeah, we had this ghetto green van that I got to drive for a little bit because I didn't have a car at the time. No, my car broke. That's a different story. But anyway, so yeah, I drove that for a while in this ghetto, and they picked me up in that. But then like a week later, I was like, man, I want my shoes back. So yeah, I was like, man, I want my shoes back. And then like Dylan, the guy I was telling you about earlier, who like I broke his toilet and like it flooded his whole house.
Oh yeah.
I
Earlier.
pooped really big. It was funny. Anyways. Oh yeah. So I made Dylan go back in there and get them, and he got stung a couple times. He was crying about it. I'm like, you're a little bitch. Who the fuck? Seriously. Who does this shit? I know who did this. I won't go get her.
It's boxes.
It's like sticking me in here, like seriously, come on. That reminds me, like when I was really little, I would get like really frustrated. Like I'm seeing, like I'll get so mad. I'd be like, I'd be mad. I'd be like, I got really mad. Oh, which reminds me, like the whole reason why, like these people named the Johnstons, right? Like Mark and Vicky were the name. And they're the people who like we like rode on the yacht, and I got dragged out and we said hi to Bill Gates and like came over and saw his house. Like back at church when we lived in Bellevue, there was like this little church thing that we went to. There's like a field in the back, and like field plays a great role because like there's woods and like grass everywhere. And so like they're out there, and I'm like 5 years old or some shit. I'm like, well, I don't know what happened, but I got mad. And I hit one of the kids in the head with a stick. And then I had to go apologize to their parents that I did that. But now we're best friends, so.
It ends good.
Yeah. So.
Happy ending. I love stories with happy endings.
You're like an autistic powder.
Like,
Do you know what I'm talking?
stick
No,
powder.
you're too young to know the movie.
Wait, what?
The movie Powder? You ever see it? About the kid who was born after his mom was struck by lightning and he didn't grow any hair on his body, was like white as fucking ghost, and he was super fucking smart.
No, Powder?
Yeah, it's called
It
Powder.
was. No, okay. I'm thinking about blowing the bubble or something.